Information about brokerage services. In our state, Texas law requires that at a first substantial meeting with a buyer or seller, we must explain representation. Information about brokerage services is a non-binding piece of paper. However, it is extremely important for you to be able to understand and explain the information about brokerage services to your clients. So you want to study, learn, and understand the different types of representation. So what kinds of representation are there? You can represent the owner of a property. You represent the owner of a property by entering into a written agreement with them that clearly establishes your duty as the selling agent of that property. You can become a buyer's agent and represent someone as their buyer's agent, again, by entering into a written agreement with them that clearly establishes your fiduciary duties to that client. And then the last area, it's called intermediary. This is when I have a written agreement with a seller that says I'm representing that seller. I have a written agreement with the buyer that says I'm representing the buyer, and that buyer wants to purchase this seller's home. Then I become what is called intermediary. I must alert both the seller and the buyer to the fact that I'm now representing both parties. In that case, you cannot give confidential information about the buyer to the seller. You can't give confidential information about the seller to the buyer. You must facilitate, negotiate, and just make sure that everything goes smooth. Here's one tip that I can share with you that I've learned in all my years of selling real estate, is I always want to throw my client under the bus and then save them. Here's what I mean by that. As I'm working with a buyer in the beginning of the process, I'm sharing the buying process with them. I share the IABS. And I say to them, I can represent you as your buyer's agent. If we were to walk out of here today and we did not have a written buyer's agent agreement, I would be, in the eyes of the law, representing the seller, and you would have no representation. That is not good, right? So you want a buyer's agreement with me, correct? That's the way I explain it. So I throw them under the bus that if we walk out without a signed buyer agent agreement, that I'll be representing the seller, and then I save them with that buyer's agent agreement. Study, learn, understand how to properly present the information about brokerage services document so that you can get it signed every time.